Come on. You know there was going to be another story. There's so was going to be one. So let's come up with one. Hey folks, MasakoX here. I know that Dragon Ball Super ended as we know it a few years ago in its current guise, but that doesn't stop me thinking about it every now and again. What could have been had it been allowed to carry on for a few more episodes, even just maybe 5 or 10 more? Granted, the ending that we did get with Goku and Freeza here working together was a very good one, but it just seemed rushed. But okay, that shot of them powering up as one is very striking and has become iconic. I got the feeling then, and I still have it today. But then there was another feeling I had, that there was something else bubbling underneath the surface, and it had something to do with the angels. Oh, I know, I can hear you groaning in the comments, and I understand. That theory has been covered so many times at this point here, and you're right. But the evidence at that time that something was being laid out for later was so compelling that I just cannot ignore it. But, alas, with Super ending the way it did, that plot thread has been basically forgotten about, and since we got another ending, it probably will never be used in the main timeline again. Okay, I can deal with that. But that doesn't mean we can't have a bit of fun now, eh chaps? A few years ago, back when episode 88 was the latest Dragon Ball Super episode, I came up with 5 possible ways that that arc could end. And I also thought that the arc would only be 20 episodes long. I don't know, past me. Try 54. In any case, when I went back over that video, and you can too up top, I listened to all 5 possible scenarios that I mused about. In the end, what we got was essentially the boring one, except Android 17 was the winner, not Goku, and that the universes were all brought back from erasure and were never intended to be deleted in the first place. Well, unless you wish for their return. That was all the test, you see. In any case, there was one ending which I felt quite compelled about, and I hoped for the most, and it had to do with the inklings that we got from certain shots of the angels. The GP looking suspicious every now and again, or downright creepy. Mojito from Universe 9 looking glad that his charges were gone. Was this all the plan? Well, I feel it might have been. That is until episode 125 showed up, and the people in charge of Super got the obvious hurry up to finish the series come April. You get the feeling that if there wasn't a rush to end right there, I think there would have been more. So today, I wish to expand the ending that I feel we could have gotten, and then make use of the plot threads from earlier in the story, and yes, Zalama will make an appearance. And I know that you all think that Haverock and I are really putting on our tinfoil hats about that guy, but come on. The creator god? The dragon god? The first Namekian? Surely you'd want to talk about that, using that type of plot device? No? Just us? Anyway, let's just go with it. Sit back and relax, folks, and let me know what you think in the comments. So to start things off, we keep everything up until episode 124. Gohan has fallen to the likes of Dispo, and the tag team battle with Jiren that Goku and Vegeta were having continues on unabated. However, Goku's starting to feel a little funny. He can't really explain it, but ever since he tapped into Ultra Instinct Omen for a second time, he could feel something guiding him, communicating. Not just his body, but another entity. He was too overwhelmed the first time around when he fought Jiren in Ultra Instinct Omen to notice, but now that he'd gotten back into that power, he felt another presence, telling him something. But he couldn't remember exactly what he told him. It must have been important, and it was a stronger connection because he was able to last the course with his battle with Kefla, and he could remember most of the event this time around, unlike the first time, where he had no recollection or clue about what had happened. Or even less of a clue because, hey, this is Goku we're talking about here. 'Cause he's dumb. The GP can sense something too. An ancient power could be felt within Goku, and that made him a little concerned that that form of Ultra Instinct and Immortal might be too dangerous. In an ideal world, he would have found some way or loophole to disqualify Goku from the contest, taking him aside to be dealt with personally. However, when he tabled that notion to the two Zenos, they were very much opposed to it because they liked Goku so much.
We want Goku to win! Yeah, Goku's funny!
The GP looked pained. This wasn't the point of the competition. Yes, he liked Universe 7 for their charm and interesting spirit, but things were now getting a little bit serious and dicey. And now, the king of everything was getting in the way. For the last time, he would reckon. He wasn't going to be downright moustache-twisting evil about this, but there's only so much a GP could put up with and he'd been putting up with a lot over the eons. The fights continue with the GP vowing to put a stop to Goku if his Ultra Instinct powers got out of hand one more time. For now though, Goku wasn't demonstrating any of that. He was also turning a blind eye toward the unearthing of Toppo and his destroyer powers coming to the fore. But now that we know about a certain power that a certain somebody had in a certain manga chapter, no spoilers here, we can start to understand the form that Toppo had a little more, and how it actually makes sense for somebody like Toppo. Because, come on, the guy's got such a personality and ego. But this doesn't concern the GP at all, since Toppo is a known quantity, and has been under the eye of Belmod, one of the most respected, experienced, and revered destroyers going in this field of reality. Oh yeah, Toppo doing that? Oh, that's fine. But Goku? Not so much. He had gained this power far too quickly, and the way the cosmos works where angels can be erased if transgressing certain things, that could be very precarious. In the end, we get to the final battle, with Jiren destroying the majority of the arena in a massive temper tantrum. Goku is starting to feel a power welling up inside of him. Even in his regular power-up forms, the Super Saiyan forms, he can hear a voice willing him to continue, that they would lead the way, that the power was within him, and it needs just one more spark to truly awaken this fascinating power. And you know that Goku's always interested in more power. And sure enough, Goku does just that. Mastered Ultra Instinct. The GP is flabbergasted. That power was incredible. It rivaled Lord Beerus' strength in a being who hadn't even been granted immortality. But what was worse was the way that Goku was now acting. In Ultra Instinct, it's often said that the person's consciousness takes a back seat, allowing their body to essentially run the show wholesale, on its own. Well, not this time. With this full unleashing of power, there is another person in charge of Goku's body, and Goku is not in control. It's the arrival of Zalama. Who is Zalama, I might hear some of you say? Well, he is a dragon god. The dragon god. He is the one that created Super Shenron, the last remains of his work going. In essence though, you could easily say that he's the third divine leader of the dragon world. You have Zalama here, the creator, the GP and the angels being the caretakers, and Zeno, the ultimate destroyer. Stronger than any of the other destroyers like Beerus or Champa for separate universes. The Super Dragon Balls were created to aid Zalama's work of creation, as well as the gods. You could argue and say that Zalama may have been the first being of all, not just the first Namekian. But in the midst of this exposition, most likely given out by Whis or the GP himself, Jiren is utterly wasted by the devastating power of Goku's body, fueled by the creator dragon god. Zalama looks to Jiren with utter disdain.
You are too simple in your approach. There's far more to life than just being consumed with revenge.
Hey, this is the god of creation talking. Life is his jam, you know. He should know a thing or two, right? In the end, using Goku's skill set as a guide, we have Goku shouting a Super Dragon Fist attack, which cuts through Jiren's body and eliminating him from the competition. The stands in Universe 11 are stunned. The last of their fighters had fallen. The one that was supposed to bring them victory. But they weren't being erased. What was going on? That was supposed to happen, right? Universe 7 are equally baffled as well. That wasn't an attack that they knew Goku could do. He never mentioned anything about a Super Dragon Fist, and why is he leaving the arena, or what was left of it, and heading up to the domain of the Zenos up above? The GP put up a barrier to try and protect himself and the Omni Kings, but Zalama Goku, or Zalamoku, I shall call him for the moment, simply punches it out of existence. For the first time, the Grand Priest is afraid. Or as afraid as a deity could get or convey. He tries to put on a brave face though. I am afraid that you're not permitted here, Goku. This leads to your disqualification from the tournament. Zalamoku says nothing for a moment before talking, but not using Goku's mouth. It's like it's coming from the sheer energy around it, from its whited out eyes.
Priest, this is not your battle to fight. I will no longer be silenced.
I think you'll find that it is. I am here to defend the king of everything.
King? He is no king. He is but an infant in Emperor's clothing.
Zalamoku looks up to the thrones and sees two Zenos staring back at him.
There are two of them now. How?
Yes. A future alternative reality version of Zeno was brought back by the person whose body you've, acquired.
Two destroyers in charge of reality? This cannot be sustainable.
One of the Zenos spoke out.
Who are you? You're not Goku. Yeah, why did you steal our friend's body?
Friend, you made friends with mortals? I have been away for far too long. Yes, I am a creator, and I love life for what it is. But that does not mean I view mortals as my friend. I cannot. It would be too painful to see them suffer, die.
The face of Goku looked pained at that very dilemma that Zalama was posing himself. Zalama, release yourself from Goku's body at once. Zeno erased you for good reason.
What reason was that? How could someone like them to do something like that? No. You had something to do with it. Do not play ignorant. You and your family had ideas to usurp the kingdom of reality. First, you had it so I was sent to Universe 15 on some wild yarn. Then, you manipulated the Child King to wipe out said realm from this plane of existence, endangering the lives of quadrillions. For a personal grudge? No. To gain power. Conduct this tournament to erase past universes and start anew. In your image.
The GP had no choice. He had to attack. Interrupt the connection that Zalama had with reality through Goku. That would fix it. He had to knock Goku out. The battle began, and it was intense. The tournament below, which technically Universe 7 won anyway since Jiren was out, watched on as this fight took precedent. This was, simply put, a contest of reality itself. However, the GP had a disadvantage in his skill set, despite having no limit in his abilities. His role initially was to maintain and caretake, not to create wholesale. Zalama was right up there with Zeno in terms of power. He could create life. Zalama was the ultimate dragon god, and to make matters worse for the GP, the Super Dragon Balls had started to glow, and out from them emerged the immense size of Super Shenron, being called without asking, watching on as the energy of its creator was near. In a break in the fight, the GP asked why Goku? Why was Goku so important to the plan?
He wasn't,
said Zalama plainly and simply.
The Saiyan known as Goku was the first power I could feel from that far away, in the darkness of Limbo. The power of Ultra Instinct in a mortal, and so strong that even myself could feel it, was my chance to make things right here. Return to where I belong.
So, you are using your own creations to your own ends, said the GP with a hint of smugness. Isn't that rather going against your own edict? Zalamoku closed his eyes.
Yes, I am not proud of that, but it's the only way for me to fix what you have clearly corrupted.
Super Shenron then let out a roar that could be heard through eternity, despite them being in the world of void. Goku's body glowed white hot, and out from it, a strong Namekian, 10 feet tall, wearing golden cloaks and white robes, stepped out from it. Goku's body, now out of Ultra Instinct, had been floated down by Zalama's energy to the stands where his friends tended to him. Piccolo gazed up at what he could see. A Namekian? You mean the god of creation was really one of us? Zalama and the GP stared at each other and the fight continued. Despite no longer using Goku's power for his own, Zalama still was able to halt the GP's charge, now he was fully there, to the point where the GP simply stopped. Now what? Do you wish to avenge the time you have lost? To destroy myself and Zeno? Zalama looked nonplussed.
Of course not. You know that what you say are lies. I am a god of creation. I do not destroy. All I ask is that things are restored to how they were supposed to be. Zeno.
Both of the Zenos heard Zalama and then recognized him after them getting close enough.
Oh, Zalama, the green dude. Long time no see. Hi.
Zalama nodded.
Yes, Zeno. It is I. I am here to alleviate the burden of your duties. You are not supposed to lead in this manner. That is asking too much of you.
Does that mean we can play more?
Yes, you may.
Both of the Zenos looked excited.
And as for you, priest, remember your place. You are here to maintain what I create, and know when it is time for Zeno to destroy. To allow a destroyer to rule on their own is ludicrous. Your actions, selfish.
In the end, the GP relented, and the original status quo of the Omniverse was restored. The Trinity of the Deities went about their original tasks, and yes folks, don't worry, 17 got his boat. Now I bet you're wondering why I chose to go about the whole Zalama premise. Well, what Dragon Ball Super told us in spades, that the deities up there are pretty bad at their job. Dragon Ball Z gave us a pass in that regard. Shin was conveyed as somebody who was at the top, doing their best in a place where they weren't supposed to. But in Super, not only is he pretty bad at it, but everyone else is. One thing we can all agree on though, is that Super needs to have consequences attached to its actions. So what we need to have happen and wrap up in the story is that the angels and the heavens are governed properly now. The idea of the first Namekian using Goku's power is not only a cool idea to think about, but it allows Goku to serve a purpose of him getting power, but also realizing that what he is achieving is something that is really epic and not intended to occur in such a short space of time. To trouble the angels, to intrigue the creator, and the Super Dragon Balls being a nice plot tool. But yeah, I thought it was neat. And if Super ended that way, putting to bed that the guise were incompetent and the angels and the king of everything were not really in the places they were supposed to be, being a total mess, I'd be happy with that. But what did you folks think? Did you like this ending, or do you feel that what we got was good enough and that nothing needs to change? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later.